Hello guys, welcome to Scion What If. So in this video, we will see what if Goku was half angel half demon. If you enjoy these kinds of stories, don't forget to show us some love by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your support means the world to us. Now, let's start the story. Chapter 1, Origins unveiled. The crowd roared as Goku ducked under a spinning kick that would have taken anyone else's head clean off. His opponent, a mountain of muscle named Tien, grunted in frustration as Goku slipped inside his guard and landed 3 rapid punches to his midsection. Ladies and gentlemen, I've never seen speed like this, the announcer's voice boomed through the World Martial Arts Tournament arena. Son Goku continues his unstoppable march through the finals. Goku bounced on the balls of his feet, a wide grin spreading across his face. Fighting had always come naturally to him, too naturally, according to his adoptive grandfather Gohan before he passed. The old man had found Goku as a baby, abandoned in the mountains, and raised him with equal parts love and caution. Your strength is a gift, Grandpa Gohan would say, but remember, power without control destroys everything it touches. Tien charged again, unleashing a flurry of strikes that forced Goku backward. For a moment, Goku felt that familiar tingle, the strange heat that sometimes built inside him during fights. He pushed it down. Not here. Not now. Just finish this normally, he muttered to himself. In the front row, a young woman with dark hair pulled into a tight bun leaned forward, her eyes narrowing. Chi-Chi, daughter of the Ox King and a championship fighter in her own right, had been watching Goku's matches with increasing interest. Something about his movement seemed impossible. Like he wasn't entirely bound by the same physics as everyone else. You see it too, don't you? Asked the old man beside her, her coach, Master Roshi. Chi-Chi nodded. He's holding back. A lot. Back in the ring, Tien launched his signature move, splitting into 4 identical copies that surrounded Goku from all sides. The crowd gasped. No one had countered this technique in tournament history. Goku just smiled. The 4 Tiens attacked simultaneously. Goku dropped to one knee, and that's when it happened, the heat inside him surged. His vision sharpened impossibly, time seeming to slow. His hands began to glow with soft white light. What the? Goku stared at his own fingers in shock. The light pulsed once, then darkened to crimson, crackling with black electricity. Pain shot through Goku's body. The 4 Tiens crashed into him at once, but instead of falling, Goku released a shockwave of energy that sent them all flying backward. The real Tien hit the edge of the ring and collapsed, his duplicates vanishing. Silence fell over the arena. Goku looked down at his hands, normal again, then up at the stunned crowd. Most people started cheering, assuming they'd witnessed some amazing special effect or secret technique. But Chi-Chi was on her feet, her expression intense. The winner by ring out, Son Goku, the announcer finally declared, breaking the momentary spell. Backstage, Goku splashed water on his face, trying to steady his breathing. These episodes were happening more frequently now. First just strange dreams and occasional headaches. Then flashes of impossible strength. And now, whatever that energy was. Impressive light show out there. Goku spun around to find Chi-Chi leaning against the doorframe, arms crossed. It wasn't, I don't know what happened, he admitted. She studied him with intelligent eyes. You really don't, do you? I'm Chi-Chi, by the way. Goku. But I guess you know that already. He smiled, feeling strangely comfortable with her direct approach. You're fighting in the women's division, right? I watched your semi-final. Your tornado kick is amazing. Thanks. She pushed off from the doorframe. Look, I don't mean to be forward, but there's something. A deafening explosion cut her off. The building shook, dust raining from the ceiling. Screams erupted from the main arena. Goku and Chi-Chi locked eyes for just a moment before both sprinted toward the chaos. They emerged to find half the stadium wall blown apart and spectators fleeing in panic. Through the massive hole, 3 figures floated in midair. They looked almost human, except for their crimson skin, small curved horns, and the black markings that swirled across their bodies like living tattoos. Each carried a different weapon that glowed with malevolent energy. "Found you, half-breed," the center figure snarled, pointing a curved blade directly at Goku. "Your little power flare might as well have been a beacon." "What are you talking about?" Goku shouted back, positioning himself between the strange attackers and the fleeing civilians. "Who are you people?" The demon with the blade laughed. "Playing dumb won't save you. The balance is already broken. Lord Vegeta is coming." Without warning, they dive-bombed into the arena. Goku barely managed to push Chi-Chi aside before a spiked chain whipped through the space where she'd been standing. He caught the chain on instinct, yanking its wielder off balance. "Run!" he shouted to the remaining spectators. "Everybody out now." The demon with the blade slashed at Goku's head. He ducked, but not quite fast enough. The blade nicked his cheek, drawing blood. Instantly, Goku felt a burning sensation. The blood droplets hovering in mid-air glowed blue-white for a split second before darkening to deep crimson. The demons froze, staring. "It's true," whispered one. "The blood of both realms." Something snapped inside Goku. The heat from earlier returned tenfold, power surging through his body like electricity. He moved without thinking, faster than he'd ever moved before. His fist connected with the nearest demon's jaw, sending him crashing through what remained of the arena wall. The demon with the chain swung again, but Goku caught it mid-strike. Light and darkness swirled around his arm as he pulled, yanking the demon toward him and delivering a kick that sent the attacker skyward. The leader with the blade circled cautiously. "Impressive. But untrained. You don't even know what you are, do you?" Goku's only response was to charge forward. They exchanged a flurry of blows, moving so quickly that Chi-Chi, who had refused to flee, could barely track their movements. When they separated, the demon was bleeding from several wounds while Goku remained untouched. "Enough games," the demon snarled. He raised his blade skyward, and it erupted in black flames. "Die, abomination." He brought the weapon down in a devastating arc. Goku raised his hands instinctively, and pure white light burst from his palms, forming a shield. The blade struck the barrier and shattered, the explosion throwing both combatants backward. Goku crashed into a pile of debris. When he looked up, the demon was fleeing, carrying his unconscious companions. The entire arena had been reduced to rubble, miraculously empty of civilians thanks to their quick evacuation. "Goku!" Chi-Chi rushed to his side. "Are you hurt? What was that? What did they want?" Before he could answer, a massive shadow fell over them. Looking up, Goku saw a giant of a man, easily 10 feet tall with red skin, a beard, and horns, but wearing what looked like an official suit. "Found you at last, son Goku," the giant rumbled. "I'm King Yema, overseer of the boundary between realms. And we need to talk, now, before more scouts arrive." "Scouts?" Goku echoed, his head swimming. "What were those things? And how do you know my name?" King Yema's expression softened slightly. "Those were demon scouts. As for how I know you..." He sighed heavily. "I've been watching over you since your parents entrusted you to me 18 years ago. It's time you learned who, and what, you really are." A section of stands collapsed nearby, reminding them of their precarious surroundings. "Not here," King Yema decided, extending a massive hand. "Come. Both of you," he added, nodding to Chi-Chi. "She's already involved, and you'll need allies you can trust." Goku hesitated, looking at Chi-Chi. "You should probably get somewhere safe. This seems dangerous." Chi-Chi snorted. 3 monsters just tried to kill you, and you're worried about me? I'm coming. Besides," she added with a small smile, I've been looking for an interesting fight. Seems like you're the definition of interesting. Something warmed in Goku's chest at her words. He nodded, then took King Yema's offered hand. Chi-Chi did the same. In an instant, the world blurred around them. When reality solidified again, they stood in a simple wooden cabin deep in a bamboo forest. Through the windows, Goku recognized Mount Paozu. They were somewhere in the mountain range where he'd grown up with his grandfather. This is a safe house, King Yema explained, his size somehow less imposing in the modest surroundings. Warded against detection from both realms. Both realms? Goku repeated. What does that mean? King Yema gestured to a rough-hewn table. Sit. This will take some explaining. Once they were seated, he produced an ornate box from inside his suit jacket. It was small in his giant hands but would have been the size of a large book to Goku. The box was divided down the middle, one half gleaming white gold with intricate patterns, the other black iron with jagged designs. The universe as you know it is only part of existence, King Yema began, placing the box on the table. There are other realms beyond the physical world. Primarily, the celestial realm above and the netherworld below. Heaven and hell? Chi-Chi asked skeptically. Crude approximations, but close enough, King Yema nodded. The celestial realm is home to angels and divine beings, creatures of order, light, and creation. The netherworld houses demons and dark entities, beings of chaos, shadow, and destruction. Goku frowned. And those, scouts, they were demons? From this netherworld? Yes. For millennia, angels and demons have maintained an uneasy truce. Limited contact, defined boundaries, mutual non-interference in the mortal realm. Until 18 years ago, when something unprecedented occurred. King Yema opened the box. Inside lay two objects, a feather that glowed with soft white light and a small curved horn that seemed to absorb the light around it. An angel and a demon fell in love. Chi-Chi's eyes widened. That's possible. It had never happened before, King Yema said. Seraphiel was a guardian angel, responsible for maintaining celestial boundaries. Mephistra was a demon general, charged with similar duties for the netherworld. They met during boundary negotiations and, over time, formed a bond that transcended their opposing natures. He looked directly at Goku. They had a child, a being with both celestial and infernal blood. You, Goku. The cabin fell silent. Goku stared at the feather and horn, something deep inside him resonating with both objects. It explained so much, the strange dreams, the unpredictable power surges, the feeling of being torn in two directions his entire life. What happened to them? He finally asked, his voice barely audible. King Yema's expression grew solemn. When your existence was discovered, both realms reacted with fear and anger. A hybrid was considered dangerous, unpredictable, a threat to cosmic balance. Forces from both sides converged to eliminate you. He closed his eyes briefly. Your parents brought you to me at the boundary. As overseer, I'm neutral in conflicts between realms. They begged me to hide you in the mortal world, then, they returned to face their pursuers, drawing them away from your trail. They sacrificed themselves, Goku said flatly. King Yema nodded. They used their combined power to cast a concealing spell over you, hiding your true nature even from yourself. That spell has been weakening as you've grown stronger. Today, when your power flared during the tournament, it finally shattered completely. Goku stood abruptly, walked to the window. Outside, the bamboo swayed in a gentle breeze. The peaceful scene a stark contrast to the turmoil inside him. So I'm what, half angel, half demon. He turned back to face them. And now both sides want me dead because of it. Not everyone, King Yema clarified. There are moderates in both realms who might see you differently. But yes, the hardliners, particularly those in power, view your existence as a threat. Why tell me all this now? Goku demanded. If the spell was hiding me, why not just let me stay hidden? Because it's too late for hiding, came a new voice. All three turned to see a figure materialize in the doorway, a man of medium height with flame-like hair that stood straight up. He wore a blue battle suit with white armor, but what made Chi-Chi gasp was his appearance: red skin, prominent widow's peak, and eyes black as coal except for crimson irises. Prince Vegeta, King Yema growled, rising to his feet. "Stay seated, Overseer," Vegeta said coldly. "Your neutrality charter prevents you from interfering directly. I'm here for the half-breed abomination." Goku stepped forward. "I'm guessing that's me." Vegeta's eyes narrowed as he assessed Goku. "Son Goku. Or should I call you by your true name? The spawn of Seraphil and Mephistra, the traitors who defiled bloodlines kept pure since creation. His name is Goku," Chi-Chi snapped, moving to stand beside him. Vegeta barely glanced at her. "A human defender? How appropriate. Your father was a guardian, after all." His gaze returned to Goku. "I am Vegeta, Prince of the Sixth Circle and Commander of the Netherworld's elite forces. I've come to correct the mistake of your continued existence." "Look," Goku said, raising his hands. "I just found out about all this 5 minutes ago. I'm not a threat to anyone." "Your very existence is a threat," Vegeta snarled. "A being of dual heritage could access powers from both realms, powers that could disrupt the cosmic balance we've maintained for eons. I didn't ask to be born this way." "Few ask for their fate," Vegeta replied. "Yet we all must face it. Your fate, half-breed, ends today." He moved with blinding speed, driving his fist toward Goku's chest. Goku barely managed to block, the impact sending him crashing through the cabin wall into the forest beyond. "Goku!" Chi-Chi started forward, but King Yema held her back. "You can't help him against a demon prince," he warned. "Vegeta would kill you without a second thought." Outside, Goku rolled to his feet as Vegeta stalked toward him. The demon prince moved with predatory grace, power radiating from him in visible waves of dark energy. "You're untrained," Vegeta observed. "Your power leaks from you like water through cupped hands. Pathetic." He launched another attack, this time a combination of strikes so fast that Goku could only defend instinctively. Each blocked blow numbed his arms, each dodged kick left him more off balance. "Fight back, half-breed," Vegeta taunted. "Show me this power that has both realms so afraid." Goku tried to tap into the energy he'd felt earlier, but it remained elusive, flickering at his fingertips before disappearing. Vegeta landed a solid punch to his ribs, and Goku heard something crack. Pain blossomed through his side. "Is this truly the child of Mephistra?" Vegeta sneered, circling him. "My father spoke of her with respect, a worthy adversary. Yet her son can barely stand after a few blows." Anger flared inside Goku, not just at Vegeta's words but at the entire situation. The parents he'd never known. The heritage kept secret from him. The danger now threatening not just him but anyone close to him. "Don't talk about my mother," he growled. Vegeta smirked. "There it is. The demon blood wakes." The air around Goku darkened, shadows gathering like smoke. His eyes flashed crimson, and when he moved, it was with newfound speed and ferocity. His fist connected with Vegeta's jaw, sending the prince staggering backward. "Good." Vegeta recovered quickly, wiping blood from his lip. "But you're accessing only half your potential. Your demon side responds to anger. What triggers the angel, I wonder?" He vanished, reappearing at the cabin. Before Goku could react, Vegeta had grabbed Chi-Chi by the throat. "Perhaps threat to an innocent?" Vegeta suggested, tightening his grip. Chi-Chi didn't scream or struggle. Instead, she drove her elbow into Vegeta's solar plexus with surprising force. The demon prince loosened his grip just enough for her to break free and deliver a spinning kick to his head. It was a perfect technique that would have knocked out any human opponent. Vegeta merely looked annoyed. Spirited, he acknowledged, backhanding her across the clearing. Chi-Chi. Goku's shout tore from somewhere deep inside him. As he watched her body hit a bamboo trunk and crumple to the ground, something broke open within him. Light erupted from his skin, brilliant and white. The shadows from before didn't disappear but merged with the light, creating a swirling aura of contrasting energies. His wounds healed instantly, his broken rib knitting together. There, Vegeta said softly. Now we begin. The battle that followed destroyed much of the bamboo forest. Goku, operating on pure instinct, matched Vegeta blow for blow. White gold energy formed around his right hand, black-red around his left. When he punched with his right, the impact released bursts of healing energy that immediately repaired the environmental damage. When he struck with his left, small explosions of destructive force followed. Vegeta was experienced but increasingly astonished by Goku's raw power. What the half-breed lacked in technique, he made up for in unpredictability and sheer force. You fight like both and neither. Vegeta shouted during a brief separation. No form, no discipline, just chaos and divine fury mixed together. I don't know what I'm doing. Goku admitted, the dual aura still swirling around him. But I know I won't let you hurt Chi-Chi or anyone else. Vegeta's expression darkened. Noble sentiment. Your mother said something similar before she died. Rage and grief, emotions for a woman he'd never known, surged through Goku. The dark energy around his left hand intensified, crackling with destructive potential. He charged forward, unleashing a barrage of attacks that drove Vegeta back step by step. In the periphery of his awareness, Goku sensed Chi-Chi regaining consciousness, felt King Yema watching from the cabin doorway. But his focus remained on Vegeta, on the demon prince who represented all the forces that had torn his family apart before he could even know them. A particularly powerful combination sent Vegeta crashing through several bamboo trunks. The prince rose slowly, his armor cracked, blood trickling from his mouth. You're stronger than I expected, Vegeta admitted. But still untrained. Still vulnerable. He raised his hand, gathering a sphere of concentrated darkness. Die with dignity, half-breed. It's more than most get. The attack launched toward Goku with devastating speed. On instinct, Goku thrust both hands forward, light and dark energies combining into a swirling purple shield that absorbed Vegeta's blast completely. Both fighters stared in shock. Impossible, Vegeta whispered. The energies cannot merge without destroying each other. Taking advantage of Vegeta's momentary surprise, Goku charged forward, summoning power into both hands. The swirling purple energy formed into a concentrated sphere between his palms. This ends now, he shouted, driving the sphere directly into Vegeta's chest. The explosion threw them both in opposite directions. When the dust cleared, Vegeta lay in a shallow crater, his armor shattered, his body battered. Goku stood over him, one hand extended, another sphere of purple energy forming. Do it, Vegeta coughed, blood speckling his lips. Prove you're a demon after all. Goku's hand trembled. The dark energy in his aura pulsed, urging destruction. But the light pushed back, insisting on mercy. I'm both, Goku said finally. And neither. The energy sphere dissipated. I won't kill you. Vegeta's expression twisted with contempt. Weakness. Just like your parents. My parents saved me, Goku replied. They chose love over hate. Seems to me they were stronger than anyone who would kill a child for being different. For a moment, something like uncertainty flickered across Vegeta's face. Then his expression hardened again. This isn't over, half-breed. Others will come, angels and demons both. They'll hunt you to the ends of the earth. Let them try, Goku said quietly. I'll be ready. Vegeta struggled to his feet, his body clearly in pain but his pride intact. Next time, I won't underestimate you. With a gesture, he tore a hole in the air itself, a portal crackling with dark energy. And next time, I won't fight alone. He stepped through the portal, which sealed behind him. Goku's dual aura faded, leaving him exhausted but strangely clear-headed. Chi-Chi approached cautiously, limping slightly but otherwise unharmed. "You okay?" he asked, genuinely concerned. She smiled wryly. "Shouldn't I be asking you that? You just found out you're half angel, half demon, and fought off a prince of hell." "Netherworld," King Yema corrected, joining them. "And Prince Vegeta was right about one thing, others will come. Now that your power has awakened fully, both realms will sense you." Goku looked at his hands, normal now, but capable of both incredible destruction and miraculous healing. "I need to learn control. I can barely use these powers, let alone master them." "I might know someone who can help," King Yema said carefully. "But training with him won't be easy. He's particular about his students." "I don't have much choice, do I?" Goku sighed. "But first," he turned to Chi-Chi, "you should probably get as far away from me as possible. I'm basically a walking target now." Chi-Chi crossed her arms. "Are you seriously trying to get rid of me after I just saw the coolest fight of my life?" "It's dangerous, obviously," she interrupted. "Everything worth doing is dangerous. Besides," her expression softened slightly, "you need someone to watch your back. Someone human, who can help you remember that side of yourself." Goku felt a strange warmth spread through his chest that had nothing to do with his newfound powers. "Are you volunteering?" "Well, I did just get backhanded by a demon prince because of you," Chi-Chi pointed out. "I think that entitles me to see how this story ends, don't you?" King Yema cleared his throat. "If you two are finished, we should leave. This location is compromised, and we have much to prepare." As they walked through the destroyed bamboo forest, Goku found himself drawn to Chi-Chi's steady presence beside him. In a world suddenly filled with angels, demons, and cosmic conflicts, her humanity anchored him. "Thanks," he said quietly. "For staying. For not thinking I'm a monster." Chi-Chi glanced at him. "Monster? Please. I've dated guys way scarier than you." Despite everything, Goku laughed. Whatever came next, whatever his dual heritage meant for his future, he wasn't facing it alone. For now, that was enough. Far away, in the celestial realm, a tall figure with pale blue skin and white hair watched the events unfold through a crystal orb. His name was Whis, attendant to the god of destruction and one of the most powerful angels in existence. "Interesting," he murmured. "The child of Seraphiel lives, and with such potential." Beside him, a purple cat-like being lounged on a floating cushion. "Is that the hybrid everyone's in a frenzy about?" "Doesn't look like much to me." "Appearances can be deceiving, Lord Beerus," Whis replied mildly. He managed to merge opposing energies, a feat thought impossible even for the most experienced celestial beings. Beerus yawned. "So he's a curiosity. Why should I care?" "Because, my lord, if he can truly balance both aspects of his heritage, he may represent something entirely new." Whis's eyes gleamed. "And new things are so rare in our ancient universe, are they not?" In the netherworld, Vegeta knelt before a towering throne, his injuries still evident despite healing treatments. "You failed," rumbled the figure on the throne, "King Vegeta, ruler of the Sixth Circle and father to the prince." "I underestimated him," Vegeta admitted. "It won't happen again. See that it doesn't." The Demon King leaned forward. "The Celestials are already moving. Their enforcer Zamasu has requested permission to hunt the hybrid. If demons cannot solve this problem, they will, and they'll use it as an excuse to encroach on our territory." Vegeta's fists clenched. "Give me another chance, father. The half-breed is powerful but untrained. With a proper force, no." King Vegeta cut him off. "We need a more specialized approach. He gestured to the shadows behind the throne. You'll have help next time. From the darkness emerged a slender figure with pale skin and golden eyes. Despite her delicate appearance, Vegeta felt a chill run down his spine. Asudara, the demon witch, was known for her cruelty as much as her power. The hybrid has something we need, King Vegeta continued. Information locked in his very blood, the secret of merging opposing energies. Imagine what our forces could do with such power. You want him captured, not killed, Vegeta realized. Alive enough for us to extract what we need, his father confirmed. Then you can have whatever remains for your satisfaction. As plans formed in the shadowy court, as angelic forces mobilized in the heavens above, Goku slept fitfully in a new safe house. His dreams filled with feathers and horns, with light and shadow, with parents whose faces he would never know but whose legacy now defined his existence. A legacy he was only beginning to understand. Chapter 2, Realms of Power, again. Whis' command rang through the pocket dimension where they'd been training for the past 3 weeks. The space, a vast white void with randomly appearing structures, existed between realms, hidden from both angel and demon detection. Goku picked himself up from the crystalline floor for what felt like the 1000th time that day. His body ached in places he didn't know could ache. Sweat dripped into his eyes, and his breath came in ragged gasps. I can't, he panted. The energies won't, they keep fighting each other. Whis tapped his staff against the floor, his pale blue face showing no sympathy. Of course they fight. Angel and demon energies are fundamentally opposed. That's precisely why you must master them both. Chi-Chi sat cross-legged at the edge of their training area, watching with intense focus. You're overthinking it, Goku, she called. Remember how you did it against Vegeta. You weren't trying to control anything then, you just reacted. Goku nodded, wiping sweat from his brow. In the weeks since learning of his heritage, he'd made progress, but not enough. He could summon either energy separately now, celestial light that could heal and protect, or demon fire that could destroy and corrupt. But combining them remained maddeningly elusive. Your human friend is correct, Whis observed, circling Goku with fluid grace. Your conscious mind creates the barrier. The angel half thinks too much. The demon half feels too much. They cannot work together when you try to control both. So what am I supposed to do? Not think and not feel? Goku snapped, frustration bubbling over. Whis smiled enigmatically. Perhaps something in between. With blinding speed, the angel instructor flicked his staff toward Chi-Chi, a bolt of energy shot from its tip, streaking directly at her. Goku moved without thought. One moment he stood opposite Whis, the next he was in front of Chi-Chi, both hands extended. White light erupted from his right palm, black flame from his left. The energies swirled together, forming a pulsing purple shield that absorbed Whis' attack completely. There, Whis said softly. Just as I suspected. Goku stared at his hands in wonder as the merged energy dissipated. How did you stop trying to be half angel or half demon, Whis explained. You simply acted as Goku, a being who is both and neither at once. Chi-Chi stood, eyes wide. You attacked me on purpose. A calculated risk, Whis acknowledged. I observed that Goku's energies harmonize when he has something to protect. Specifically, when he has you to protect. Heat rose in Goku's cheeks. Chi-Chi saved him from stammering further. That's manipulative, dangerous, and completely unfair, she told Whis, hands on her hips. Also brilliant. Do it again. Chi-Chi. Goku protested. She flashed him a challenging smile. What? We finally found your trigger. Let's exploit it. Over the next few hours, Whis created increasingly complex threats directed at Chi-Chi. Each time, Goku responded with instinctive power, the opposing energies merging more smoothly with each attempt. By sunset, he could maintain the purple aura for nearly a minute before the energies separated again. Enough for today, Whis announced, tapping his staff to open a doorway back to their safe house. You've made remarkable progress. Exhausted, Goku collapsed onto the grass just outside the small cottage King Yema had provided. Chi-Chi sat beside him, passing him a water bottle. Thanks, he said, drinking deeply. And thanks for being my target practice, I guess. She laughed. Don't worry about it. I've never been the damsel in distress type, but if it helps you unlock cosmic superpowers, I can play along. The casual way she referenced his abilities still amazed him. 3 weeks ago, his biggest concern had been winning the martial arts tournament. Now he was juggling celestial and infernal energies while hiding from 2 different immortal realms that wanted him dead. And somehow, Chi-Chi made it all seem almost normal. Why did you really stay? He asked suddenly. After everything at the tournament, you could have gone back to your life. Instead, you're stuck in a safe house in the middle of nowhere, helping a half-angel, half-demon freak learn how to not blow himself up. First, you're not a freak, she said firmly. Second. She paused, considering her words. I've spent my whole life looking for something real. My father wanted me to be a proper princess. My trainers wanted me to be a perfect fighter. Everyone had their idea of who Chi-Chi should be. She looked up at the stars emerging in the twilight sky. Then I saw you at the tournament, fighting like you were born for it. And later, when those demons attacked, you didn't hesitate, you just protected people. No agenda, no posturing. So you stayed because I'm straightforward? Goku asked, confused. Chi-Chi smiled. I stayed because in a world full of people playing roles, you're just you, even when you turns out to be something nobody's ever seen before. She shrugged. That's worth sticking around for. Something warm unfurled in Goku's chest that had nothing to do with his dual energies. Before he could respond, Whis emerged from the cottage. You have a visitor, the angel announced, his tone unusually serious. King Yema ducked through the doorway, his massive frame barely fitting through the entrance. His expression was grim. Both sides are mobilizing, he announced without preamble. The Celestial High Council has appointed an enforcer named Zamasu to lead a purification squad. And the Demon Realm has assembled a capture team under Prince Vegeta. Goku stood quickly. How long do we have? Days, perhaps. King Yema pulled a scroll from inside his jacket. But that's not why I'm here. I've located something that might help you, information about your parents. Chi-Chi gasped softly. Goku froze, his heart pounding. What kind of information? He asked, trying to keep his voice steady. Records of their final days. And this. The overseer produced a small crystal pendant on a silver chain. Your mother's. It contains a message, meant for you when you came of age. I couldn't access it, only the blood of both realms can unlock it. With trembling fingers, Goku took the pendant. It was teardrop-shaped, clear as glass but with swirls of light and shadow dancing within its depths. The moment his skin touched it, the crystal warmed, pulsing gently. How do I? Your blood, King Yema instructed. Just a drop. Goku bit his thumb hard enough to draw blood and pressed it to the crystal's surface. The droplet seemed to sink into the pendant, which flared with brilliant light. A projection appeared above it, a woman with luminous white wings and a gentle face framed by flowing silver hair. My son, the projection said, her voice melodic yet tinged with sadness. If you're seeing this, then I am gone, and you have discovered your heritage. Goku couldn't speak, transfixed by the image of the mother he'd never known. I am Seraphiel, guardian of the seventh heaven. Your father is Mephistra, general of the third circle. Our union was forbidden, our love condemned by both our kinds. But you, her voice broke slightly, you were our miracle, the proof that light and shadow need not always oppose each other. The projection flickered, showing now a tall, imposing man with obsidian skin, curved horns, and eyes that glowed red but somehow radiated kindness. "My son," Mephistra's deep voice rumbled. "We hide you not from shame but from love. Both our realms fear what they do not understand, and none have seen a being like you before. But know this, your existence is not a mistake. You are the bridge between worlds that have been separated since creation." The image shifted back to Seraphiel. "Within you lies power beyond imagining, the ability to harmonize forces thought eternally opposed. This crystal contains what knowledge we could preserve of both our powers. It will guide you when we cannot." Both parents appeared together now, their hands intertwined despite their starkly different appearances. "We love you," they said in unison. "Find your path. Make it your own." The projection faded. Tears streamed down Goku's face, but he made no move to wipe them away. Chi-Chi's hand found his, squeezing gently. No one spoke for several long moments. "They didn't even say my name," Goku finally whispered. "They didn't know it," King Yema explained gently. "When they brought you to me, you were just days old. Your grandfather Gohan named you Goku." Goku closed his fist around the crystal, feeling its steady warmth. "They said I'm supposed to be a bridge. But how? Everyone from both sides wants me either dead or captured." "Not everyone," Whis interjected. "There are factions in both realms who might see value in cooperation rather than eternal opposition. Your existence could catalyze change, if you survive long enough to master your abilities." "Great, no pressure," Goku muttered. He took a deep breath, composing himself. "So what's the plan? We can't hide forever." Whis tapped his staff thoughtfully. "I believe it's time you learned more about the realms you bridge. Only by understanding both sides can you find your place between them." "You mean visit them? The celestial realm and the netherworld?" Chi-Chi asked incredulously. "Isn't that basically walking into enemy territory?" "Yes and no," Whis replied. "I can take you to neutral territories within each realm, places where we might observe without being detected. It's risky, but necessary for Goku's development." Goku looked down at the crystal pendant, then back at his friends. "I need to know more about where I came from. Both sides of it. Let's do this." The celestial realm shimmered with prismatic light. From their vantage point on a floating island at the edge of the seventh heaven, his mother's former domain, Goku could see vast cityscapes of crystal and marble, interconnected by bridges of pure light. Angels of various ranks flew between structures, their wings leaving trails of luminescence. "It's beautiful," Chi-Chi whispered, her eyes wide with wonder. Whis had disguised her and Goku with celestial glamours. To any observer, they appeared as minor guardian angels, insignificant enough to avoid attention but ranked high enough to explain their presence in this region. "The celestial realm operates on strict hierarchy," Whis explained softly. "Each angel is created with a specific purpose and assigned a rank and function they fulfill for eternity. Change is, not particularly valued here." "So my mother broke, like, all the rules," Goku observed. "Seraphiel was unusual even before meeting your father," Whis acknowledged. "As a boundary guardian, she had more independence than most angels. Her duties brought her into contact with other realms, exposing her to ideas and perspectives uncommon among our kind. They moved carefully through a marketplace where angels exchanged crystallized emotions and memories rather than physical goods. The serenity of the place felt oppressive to Goku, too perfect, too ordered, with no room for chaos or spontaneity. "I don't belong here," he realized. "This place, it's half of me, but I could never live like this." "Few could," Whis agreed. "Even among angels, many find the rigid structure challenging. Which is why," he gestured toward a massive amphitheater where hundreds of angels had gathered, reformist movements occasionally arise. They slipped into the crowd at the amphitheater's edge. At its center, an angel with striking green skin and white hair addressed the assembly. His wings were smaller than most, but he spoke with captivating intensity. "The mortal realm grows more chaotic by the day, the Green Angel proclaimed. Human technology evolves unpredictably. Spiritual decay spreads like a virus. And what do? We observe. We record. We maintain our precious neutrality while creation itself teeters on the edge of corruption. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Some angels nodded in agreement, others looked uncomfortable. Who is that? Goku asked quietly. Zamasu, Whis replied, his expression troubled. Once a promising student of the Supreme Kai, now the most vocal advocate for celestial intervention in mortal affairs. On the stage, Zamasu's voice grew more impassioned. We were created to bring order to chaos, light to darkness. Yet for millennia, we've allowed the balance to shift. The recent abomination, a hybrid of celestial and infernal blood, is merely a symptom of our complacency. Goku stiffened. Chi-Chi's hand found his, squeezing reassuringly. This half-breed monstrosity represents everything we have failed to prevent, Zamasu continued. The corruption of divine essence with demonic taint. The violation of boundaries established at creation. And now it walks free, wielding powers no single being should possess. Cheers erupted from portions of the crowd. Goku felt sick. I have petitioned the High Council, Zamasu announced, and they have granted me authority to form a purification squad. We will cleanse this stain from existence and, in doing so, begin the necessary work of restoring proper order to all realms. The assembly erupted in mixed reactions, many cheering, others looking concerned or even frightened by Zamasu's rhetoric. We've heard enough, Whis murmured. We should leave before the abomination is discovered in our midst. The voice came from directly behind them. They turned to find a slender angel with silver hair and eyes that gleamed with zealous intensity. His white wings were tipped with gold, the mark of a celestial tracker. Ramil, Whis acknowledged calmly. What brings you to a reformist gathering? I thought the Seraphic Guard considered Zamasu's followers beneath notice. Times change, Attendant Whis, Ramil replied coldly. When threats arise, old divisions become less important. His gaze shifted to Goku and Chi-Chi, and speaking of threats, your glamours are impressive, but they cannot hide the scent of demon blood. Or human mortality. Whis stepped forward smoothly. These are my students, under my protection. The ancient accords grant me the right to take apprentices as I see fit. Apprentices, yes. Abominations and mortals, no. Ramil raised his hand, summoning a blade of pure light. Step aside, Whis. The High Council may tolerate your eccentricities, but harboring this creature goes beyond even your privileges. Goku moved into a fighting stance. I don't want trouble. We're just leaving. Too late for that, Ramil snarled. He gestured sharply, and a dozen angelic guards materialized around them, all bearing similar light blades. The half-breed comes with us. The human can die here. No one's dying today, Goku said, his voice hardening. The celestial glamour shattered as his own power surged, light blazing from his right side, darkness from his left. Several angels stepped back in shock. It's true, one whispered. The union of opposites. Ramil's expression twisted with disgust. Purify it. Now. The guards attacked simultaneously. Goku grabbed Chi-Chi and leapt skyward, summoning a shield of mixed energy to deflect the light blades. Whis moved with supernatural speed, his staff deflecting attacks while never quite striking the angels directly. We need to go. Chi-Chi shouted as Goku dodged another attack. This isn't a fight we can win. She was right. More angels were converging on their position, and a commotion from the amphitheater suggested Zamasu himself might be approaching. Goku focused his dual energies, creating a blinding flash of purple light that momentarily disoriented their attackers. Whis, he called. Exit strategy. The blue-skinned angel appeared beside them in an instant. Hold tight. His staff tapped the air, tearing open a portal. They leapt through. just as a bolt of celestial energy scorched the space they'd occupied. The netherworld hit Goku like a physical blow. Where the celestial realm had been ordered and pristine, the demon realm assaulted every sense: sulphurous air, jagged landscapes of obsidian and bone, skies roiling with blood-red clouds. Twisted structures of black metal rose from cracked earth, illuminated by rivers of magma. "Well," Chi-Chi coughed, waving acrid smoke away from her face, "this is atmospheric." Their disguises here were more extensive. Whis had transformed Chi-Chi's appearance to that of a minor succubus while Goku looked like a common horned demon. They crouched on a ridge overlooking a massive coliseum where thousands of demons had gathered. "The pit of tribulation," Whis explained quietly. "Where demons settle disputes, entertain themselves, and occasionally conduct important political functions." Unlike the orderly assembly in the celestial realm, the demonic gathering was chaotic and raucous. Different factions sat in distinct sections, occasionally hurling insults or even energy blasts at rival groups. At the center of the arena stood a raised platform where several high-ranking demons addressed the crowd. "Is that Vegeta?" Goku asked, pointing to a familiar figure on the platform. "Indeed. Prince of the Sixth Circle and commander of the Netherworld's elite forces," Whis confirmed. "And beside him, his father, King Vegeta." The Demon King was an imposing figure, taller than his son, with a beard and an aura of malevolent power that made even other demons keep their distance. He raised his hands, and the rowdy crowd gradually quieted. "Children of Chaos." King Vegeta's voice boomed across the Colosseum. "For too long, we have honored the ancient boundaries. For too long, we have allowed the Celestials to dictate the terms of our existence." Roars of agreement shook the arena. "Now we face a new threat, and a new opportunity," the king continued. "The hybrid abomination born of angel and demon represents a violation of natural law. But it also possesses something valuable, the secret of merging opposing energies." Murmurs spread through the crowd. Goku tensed, instinctively touching the crystal pendant hidden beneath his disguise. "The Celestials moved to destroy this hybrid," King Vegeta announced. "They fear what we might learn from it. They fear the power we might gain if we unlock its secrets." On the platform, Prince Vegeta stepped forward. "I have faced the half-breed in combat. Its powers are unrefined but substantial. With proper persuasion, we could extract this knowledge and forge weapons that even angels cannot withstand." The demons erupted in bloodthirsty cheers. Goku felt sick. "They don't want to kill me," he realized. "They want to experiment on me. Which may actually be worse," Chi-Chi muttered. A new figure joined the Vegetas on the platform, a slender demoness with pale skin and golden eyes. Something about her sent a chill down Goku's spine. "Who's that?" he asked. Whis' expression grew concerned. "Asura, the demon witch. A specialist in blood magic and forbidden rituals. If they're involving her, their plans for you are even darker than I feared." Asura raised her hands, and the crowd fell silent, not from respect, but from a palpable wave of dread that swept through the arena. "The hybrid's blood contains the key," her voice slithered across the Colosseum. "Angel essence and demon vitality, perfectly balanced within a single vessel. With it, I can create a serum to enhance our warriors beyond their natural limits. Imagine our forces wielding both destructive chaos and creative light, unstoppable." The crowd's response was more subdued now, eager for advantage but clearly unnerved by Asura herself. "I require the hybrid alive," she continued, her golden eyes gleaming. "Relatively intact. My extraction process will be extensive." Even Prince Vegeta looked uncomfortable at that. "My son will lead the capture team," King Vegeta declared, regaining control of the assembly. "The hybrid has been located in the mortal realm, hiding under angelic protection. We strike at dawn." "Time to go," Whis whispered urgently. "They have tracking capabilities we need to avoid." As they retreated from the ridge, a shadow detached from nearby rocks. A demon scout, smaller than most but with keen eyes that widened upon spotting them. "Intruders," it shrieked. Goku reacted instantly, summoning dark energy to his palm, the most appropriate power in this realm, and launching a controlled blast that knocked the scout unconscious without killing it. "Run," Whis ordered, no longer bothering with stealth. "We need distance to open a portal." They sprinted across the jagged landscape as alarm cries spread behind them. Within minutes, winged demons took to the air, searching for the intruders. "There," one shouted, pointing at their fleeing forms. Energy blasts rained down around them. Goku pushed Chi-Chi ahead, turning to face the pursuers with dual energy shields forming above them. "Goku, come on." Chi-Chi called. "Go. I'll hold them off." A particularly powerful blast broke through his shield, the impact throwing him against a boulder. His demon disguise shattered, revealing his true appearance. The pursuing demons halted in shock. "It's the hybrid," one called. "Alert the prince." Goku struggled to his feet, blood trickling from a gash on his forehead. The momentary hesitation gave Whis time to appear beside him, staff already spinning to open a portal. "Now, Goku." Together, they leapt through the tear in reality, leaving their pursuers behind. "Well, that was informative," Chi-Chi said dryly. They sat in their safe house, still recovering from their realm excursions. Goku winced as she cleaned the cut on his forehead. His accelerated healing was already closing the wound, but it still stung. "Both sides want me for different but equally terrible reasons," he summarized. "Angels want to purify me out of existence. Demons want to drain my blood for power juice." "Great." Whis, looking unusually concerned, paced the small living room. "The situation is worse than I anticipated. Zamasu's influence has grown considerably in the celestial realm, and King Vegeta is more ambitious than reports suggested. Both sides are mobilizing more quickly than expected. We need allies," Chi-Chi said pragmatically. "There must be moderates in both realms who don't want all-out war." "There are," Whis confirmed, "but they're scattered and cautious. Reaching them would require revealing ourselves, which creates its own risks." Goku touched the crystal pendant that now hung openly around his neck. Since activating it, he discovered it contained not just his parents' message but a wealth of knowledge, training exercises, power techniques, and snippets of history from both realms. He'd been studying it each night, absorbing centuries of wisdom his parents had compiled for him. "I need to get stronger," he decided. "Fast. No more careful training sessions. No more hiding. If both sides are coming for me anyway, I might as well be ready to face them." Whis considered this. "There are advanced techniques I've been reluctant to teach you. Dangerous ones. Without proper foundations." "I don't have time for proper foundations," Goku interrupted. "My parents said I'm supposed to be a bridge between realms. Right now, I can barely defend myself, let alone change anyone's mind about anything." The angel instructor studied him for a long moment, then nodded. "Very well. Starting tomorrow, we move to advanced techniques. But understand this, pushing these energies too far, too fast could tear you apart from the inside." "I'll risk it," Goku said firmly. Chi-Chi squeezed his hand. "I'll help however I can." He smiled gratefully at her. Over the past weeks, her presence had become increasingly important to him, not just as a training partner or friend, but as something more. Something he wasn't quite ready to name yet. "Get some rest," Whis advised. "Dawn comes early, and so do demons, apparently." As the angel departed to patrol their perimeter, Chi-Chi lingered, her hand still in Goku's. "You okay?" she asked quietly. "Seeing both realms, learning about your parents, that's a lot to process." Goku sighed. "It's strange. I always wondered where I came from, why Grandpa Gohan found me alone in the mountains. Now I know, and it's both better and worse than I imagined." "Better how?" "My parents loved each other. Loved me. He touched the pendant. They didn't abandon me out of shame or convenience. They died protecting me. Chi-Chi nodded. And worse? Their love started a war that's still going, Goku said softly. And now everyone wants me dead or captured because of what I am. I didn't ask for any of this. Nobody asks for their destiny, Chi-Chi said, echoing Vegeta's earlier words but with warmth instead of malice. But we get to decide what to do with it. Goku looked at her, really looked at her. In the soft lamplight, her dark eyes reflected determination and something else, something that made his heart beat faster. Why are you really here, Chi-Chi? He asked again. And don't give me that line about looking for something real. You found something real, but you also found danger, chaos, and a target on your back just for being near me. Why stay? She held his gaze. Maybe at first I stayed for the excitement, for something different. But now. She took a deep breath. Now I stay because of you, Goku. Not because you're half angel or half demon or some cosmic bridge between realms. Just because you're you. The simplicity of her answer struck him deeply. Without thinking, he leaned forward and kissed her, gently at first, then with increasing certainty as she responded. For a moment, the looming threats, the cosmic conflicts, the questions of identity all faded away. There was just Goku and Chi-Chi, finding connection amidst chaos. When they finally separated, both slightly breathless, Goku felt a strange sense of peace despite everything. Was that okay? He asked, suddenly uncertain. Chi-Chi laughed softly. More than okay. Though your timing could use work, confessing feelings right before potential doom is a bit cliché. I've never been good with timing, Goku admitted with a sheepish smile. But I'm glad you're here. Whatever happens next, I'm glad it's with you. She squeezed his hand once more before standing. Get some sleep, cosmic bridge between realms. Tomorrow's going to be intense. As she left for her own room, Goku touched his lips, still feeling the warmth of their kiss. Despite the dangers closing in from all sides, despite the weight of his dual heritage, he felt strangely hopeful. For the first time since learning the truth about himself, he wasn't just fighting against something, he was fighting for something too. Focus. Whis commanded, circling Goku as sweat poured down his face. The technique requires perfect symmetry between opposing energies. Too much light, and the fusion dissipates. Too much darkness, and it corrupts. They'd been training since dawn in the pocket dimension, pushing Goku's abilities to their limits and beyond. Chi-Chi watched from a safe distance as he attempted to master a technique his father had developed, the Twilight Lance, a weapon of concentrated dual energy that could pierce almost any defense. Goku extended both hands, light swirling around his right, darkness around his left. Slowly, he brought them together, forcing the opposing energies to merge rather than repel each other. A lance of pulsing purple energy began to form between his palms. Good, Whis encouraged. Now stabilize it. Feel the balance point. The lance grew, solidifying into a physical weapon that hummed with power. For a moment, Goku held it perfectly, then the energies destabilized, exploding outward and throwing him backward. Damn it, he cursed, picking himself up. I almost had it that time. Almost isn't good enough, Whis said, though his tone held no criticism. Again. After 3 more attempts, Goku finally managed to create and maintain the Twilight Lance. He hefted it experimentally, feeling the perfect balance of energies within the weapon. Now, Whis instructed, the target. With a wave of his staff, the angel conjured a series of moving targets across the pocket dimension, some glowing with celestial energy, others pulsing with demonic power. The lance will pass through physical matter, Whis explained, but it will be drawn to energy signatures similar to your own. Guide it with your will, not just your aim. Goku took a deep breath, aligning his body and focusing his intent. With a fluid motion, he hurled the lance toward a cluster of targets. The weapon streaked across the space, changing direction mid-flight to pierce each target precisely through its core, before returning to Goku's hand like a boomerang. Whoa, Chi-Chi breathed from the sideline. That was incredible. Goku grinned, the rush of success momentarily washing away his exhaustion. It worked. I actually did it. Well executed, Whis acknowledged. Though in real combat, against real opponents, maintaining that level of focus will be considerably more challenging. Then let's make it more challenging, Goku suggested, eyes gleaming with determination. No more static training. I need moving opponents, distractions, pressure. Whis raised an eyebrow. Are you certain? The next level of training carries real risk. I'm certain. The angel nodded. Very well. He turned to Chi-Chi, would you assist us? You're an accomplished fighter in your own right. Chi-Chi stepped forward eagerly. Just tell me what to do. For the next several hours, they ran combat simulations, Whis creating scenarios where Goku had to respond to multiple threats while protecting Chi-Chi and maintaining control of his increasingly powerful abilities. The training pushed him beyond his limits, forcing him to adapt and innovate with each new challenge. By mid-afternoon, Goku had mastered not only the Twilight Lance but also several other dual-energy techniques. His control was improving rapidly, the merging of opposing powers becoming more instinctive with each success. Enough, Whis finally called, noting Goku's exhaustion. You've made excellent progress, but pushing further today would be dangerous. Goku wanted to argue but knew the angel was right. His body trembled with fatigue, and maintaining the balance between his angel and demon energies was becoming increasingly difficult as his stamina waned. They returned to the safe house to find King Yema waiting for them, his expression grave. We have a problem, the overseer announced without preamble. Zamasu's purification squad crossed into the mortal realm 2 hours ago. And demon scouts have been detected less than 10 miles from here. Goku's heart sank. They found us. How? Chi-Chi demanded. This place is supposed to be warded. The wards conceal location, not essence, King Yema explained. With both sides actively hunting, it was only a matter of time before they narrowed the search area. Then we move, Goku decided. Find another safe house. King Yema shook his head. There is no safer location. The hunting parties are spreading throughout this region. Running only delays the inevitable. So what do you suggest? Chi-Chi asked, frustration evident in her voice. We just sit here and wait for them to find us. No, Whis interjected. We choose the battlefield. If confrontation is inevitable, better it happen on our terms than theirs. Goku considered this. The abandoned temple in the northern mountains. It's remote, defensible, and I know the terrain. Good choice, King Yema approved. I'll go ahead and lay protective wards, not to hide you, but to contain the battle. The last thing we need is collateral damage exposing supernatural combat to human witnesses. The overseer departed immediately. Whis turned to Goku and Chi-Chi, prepare quickly. Take only what you need. We leave in 10 minutes. As they gathered essential supplies, Goku paused, touching the crystal pendant at his throat. I'm not ready, he admitted quietly to Chi-Chi, the training's helping, but against organized teams from both realms. She stepped closer, placing a hand over his on the pendant. No one's ever ready for something like this. But you're not facing it alone. He met her eyes. That's what worries me. You shouldn't be in the middle of this. It's too dangerous. We're way past that discussion, she replied firmly. Besides, I can handle myself. Against demons and angels. Chi-Chi grinned. They've never met a human woman with something to protect. They're in for a surprise. Despite his concerns, Goku couldn't help smiling. Her confidence was infectious. He leaned forward, brushing a quick kiss against her lips. For luck, he explained. We'll need it, she agreed, squeezing his hand once more before returning to her preparations. The ancient temple stood on a rocky plateau, surrounded by steep cliffs on 3 sides and a dense forest on the 4th. Built centuries ago by monks who had sensed the thin boundary between realms in this location, it had long been abandoned but still radiated a strange power, neither celestial nor demonic, but something uniquely earthly. King Yema had completed the protective wards by the time they arrived. Glowing symbols encircled the temple grounds, pulsing with containment energy. These will prevent collateral damage and obscure the battle from human perception, he explained. But they won't hold back determined attackers from either realm. Goku surveyed their position, mind shifting into tactical mode. We have good visibility here. Limited approach vectors. If we can funnel them through the main entrance, we can control the engagement. A sound strategy, Whis agreed, but expect them to coordinate. The demon forces and Zamasu's squad may be enemies, but both want you captured or eliminated. They could inadvertently create crossfire situations. Or deliberately work together, Chi-Chi suggested. Enemy of my enemy and all that. Goku grimaced. Great. Teamwork between people trying to kill or capture me. We should assume the worst, King Yema advised. I must maintain my neutrality once combat begins, but I'll remain nearby to intervene if the balance between realms is threatened. And I'll be fighting alongside you, Whis assured Goku, though my actions against Celestials will be limited by ancient oaths. They spent the remaining daylight preparing, setting traps, establishing fallback positions, and reviewing combat signals. As dusk fell, Chi-Chi approached Goku, who stood at the temple's highest point, watching the horizon. Any sign of them? She asked, joining him at the stone railing. Not yet. But they're coming. He could feel it, a pressure in the air, a tension in the boundary between realms. You should take cover inside. The inner sanctuary has the strongest wards. And miss all the action. Not a chance. She bumped her shoulder against his. We've been over this. Chi-Chi, don't Chi-Chi me, she interrupted. I'm staying. End of discussion. Goku sighed but couldn't suppress a smile. Her stubbornness was part of what he admired about her. At least take this. He handed her a small dagger with a crystalline blade. It's charged with dual energy. Won't kill an angel or demon, but it'll definitely hurt them. She accepted the weapon, testing its balance. Nice. But I'm still planning to rely mostly on these. She raised her fists with a confident smirk. Their moment of levity ended abruptly as a thunderous crack split the air. To the north, the sky tore open in a blazing white rift, a celestial portal. Simultaneously, the ground to the south rumbled and split, belching sulphurous smoke as a demonic gateway formed. Right on cue, Goku muttered. And approaching from opposite directions. Perfect. They rushed down to join Whis in the main courtyard. The angel stood calmly, staff at the ready, as King Yema made final adjustments to the protective wards. Remember, Whis instructed, control is key. Your advantage lies in your unique ability to wield both energies. Use them in tandem, not separately. Goku nodded, settling into a fighting stance as light began to gather around his right hand and darkness around his left. Chi-Chi positioned herself slightly behind him, the crystal dagger held confidently. The first attackers appeared at the temple gates, Zamasu's purification squad, a dozen angels in gleaming armor, led by the green-skinned zealot himself. They halted at the ward boundary, assessing the defenses. Abomination. Zamasu called, his voice carrying easily across the courtyard. Surrender yourself for purification. Resist, and your suffering will be legendary. Before Goku could respond, another voice boomed from behind them. The half-breed belongs to the netherworld. They turned to see Prince Vegeta leading a contingent of demon warriors over the cliff edge. Among them stood Asudara, the demon witch, her golden eyes fixed hungrily on Goku. Well, this is awkward, Goku called to both groups. 2 parties, 1 me. Maybe you should fight each other for the privilege. Zamasu's eyes narrowed. Do not mock us, creature. Your existence is an affront to cosmic order. For once, I agree with the angel, Vegeta growled. Though our purposes differ. Whis stepped forward. As representative of Lord Beerus, God of Destruction, I invoke the right of sanctuary for these individuals. Stand down, or face consequences beyond your authority. Zamasu laughed coldly. Your master sleeps, Whis. And the High Council has granted me full authority in this matter. Your invocation is denied. Enough talk. Vegeta snarled. Take the hybrid alive. Kill the others. Both forces charged simultaneously, crashing against King Yema's wards. For a moment, the barriers held, then shattered under the combined assault, sending fragments of energy scattering across the temple grounds. The battle erupted with explosive force. Goku leapt forward, summoning the Twilight Lance and hurling it through the front ranks of Zamasu's angels. The weapon phased through their physical forms but disrupted their energy matrices, sending several crashing to the ground, temporarily paralyzed. Whis engaged Zamasu directly, their staffs clashing in bursts of blinding light as they fought with speed beyond mortal perception. King Yema, maintaining his neutrality, retreated to the edge of the battlefield, reinforcing the outer containment wards to prevent the conflict from spreading. Chi-Chi proved remarkably effective against the lesser demons, her martial arts training combined with the crystal dagger allowing her to fight with surprising efficiency. While she couldn't permanently harm them, each strike with the energized blade sent demons reeling in pain. The human is mine. Asudara declared, gliding toward Chi-Chi with clawed hands extended. Your blood will make an interesting comparison sample. Goku intercepted the witch mid-flight, a shield of dual energy blocking her path. Stay away from her. Asudara's golden eyes gleamed with malicious curiosity. Such protectiveness. How, human of you? She gestured sharply, and tendrils of blood-red energy whipped toward him from all directions. Dodging and deflecting the attacks, Goku found himself driven back toward the temple steps. The witch was more powerful than he'd anticipated, her blood magic able to track him even through his defensive teleportation. Meanwhile, Vegeta engaged Chi-Chi, clearly toying with her as he casually deflected her attacks. Impressive for a mortal, the demon prince acknowledged as she landed a particularly well-timed strike that would have incapacitated any human opponent. But ultimately futile. We'll see about that, Chi-Chi replied, feinting left before driving the crystal dagger toward his chest. Vegeta caught her wrist, twisting until she dropped the weapon. Enough games. With casual cruelty, he flung her across the courtyard. Chi-Chi hit a stone pillar with sickening force and crumpled to the ground, unmoving. No! Goku's shout tore through the battlefield, temporarily halting the combat. Rage and fear erupted within him, his dual energies surging beyond control. Light and darkness spiraled around him in a maelstrom of power. Asudara retreated, genuine fear flashing across her face. The hybrid destabilizes. Capture him now. Vegeta moved to intercept Goku, but too late. The half-breed shot across the courtyard, cradling Chi-Chi's limp form. Blood trickled from a gash on her forehead, her breathing shallow and labored. Chi-Chi, Goku whispered, his voice breaking. Please, no. How touching, Zamasu's cold voice cut through Goku's grief. The angel hovered above them, having momentarily broken away from his duel with Whis. The abomination cares for a mortal. Another violation of natural order. Something shifted inside Goku, deeper than anger, beyond rage. As he held Chi-Chi's broken body, feeling her life force fading, clarity emerged from chaos. The opposing energies within him, always in conflict, suddenly aligned toward a single purpose. Protection. Healing. Love. Golden light bloomed from his right palm as he placed it gently over Chi-Chi's heart. Simultaneously, crimson energy spiraled from his left, encircling them both in a protective cocoon. Where the energies met, they didn't fight or merge, they danced, complementing each other in perfect harmony. The assembled angels and demons watched in stunned silence as Goku's aura transformed. No longer separated into light and dark, it pulsed with a new energy, a deep violet light shot through with gold and crimson veins, radiating power unlike anything seen in any realm. Chi-Chi's wounds began to heal, color returning to her face. Her eyes fluttered open, focusing slowly on Goku's face above her. "Hey," she whispered weakly. "Did we win?" A smile broke across his face, relief flooding through him. "Not yet. But we're about to." He helped her to her feet, keeping one arm around her waist for support. When he turned to face the battlefield again, his expression had changed, no longer conflicted or afraid, but resolved and strangely serene. "This ends now," he announced, his voice carrying an authority that made both angelic and demonic forces hesitate. "I'm not your enemy. I'm not a mistake to be corrected or a resource to be exploited. I'm something new. Something you don't understand yet." Zamasu recovered first, his face contorting with disgust. "Your pretty words change nothing, abomination. Your existence violates the sacred order." "Whose order?" Goku challenged. "The cosmos existed before angels or demons drew their first breaths. You didn't create the rules, you just claimed to enforce them." He extended his hands, and the harmonized aura expanded, pushing back both attacking forces without harming them. "My parents believed worlds could coexist without eternal opposition," he continued. "That's why they chose love over tradition, compassion over duty. And that's the legacy I accept, not as half of one thing and half of another, but as something wholly new." Vegeta stepped forward, his expression conflicted. "Impressive speech, half-breed. But words won't save you from what comes next." With a gesture from Zamasu, the Purification Squad regrouped, forming a battle line of celestial warriors. Similarly, at a nod from Vegeta, the demon forces rallied, preparing for another assault. "Last chance," Vegeta offered. "Surrender, and your death will be quick. The human can go free." "Counter-offer," Goku replied, gathering power between his palms, "not a weapon this time, but something more complex. You all leave, and nobody has to get hurt at all." Asudara laughed, a chilling sound. "You cannot defeat all of us, hybrid. Even with your pretty new aura." "I don't need to defeat you," Goku said calmly. "I just need you to see." The energy between his palms expanded into a pulsing sphere of intertwined light and darkness. With a gentle motion, he released it skyward, where it exploded in a cascade of power that rained down over the temple grounds. Wherever the energy touched, it revealed truth. Angelic warriors saw flashes of their demon counterparts' thoughts and feelings, demon soldiers experienced momentary connection to celestial perspective. For a brief, startling moment, understanding bridged the eternal divide. Most recoiled in shock or disgust. But a few, including, surprisingly, Prince Vegeta, seemed affected more deeply by the experience. "Impossible," Zamasu hissed, shielding himself from the revelatory energy. "This is trickery. Sacrilege." "It's truth," Goku corrected. "The same truth my parents discovered. Our divisions are chosen, not inevitable." The moment of connection passed, leaving confusion in its wake. Some angels and demons looked at their opponents with new uncertainty, others seemed more determined than ever to destroy the source of this unsettling experience. Zamasu recovered quickly, his zealotry overriding any momentary insight. "Enough. Purifiers, cleanse this abomination from existence." The angelic warriors charged, weapons of pure light extended. Simultaneously, at Asudara's command, the demon forces attacked from the opposite direction. Goku stood his ground, Chi-Chi beside him. Whis rejoined them, staff at the ready. The three faced the oncoming assault with determined unity. What happened next shocked everyone, most of all Prince Vegeta himself. As Zamasu's forces converged on Goku from one side and the demon contingent from the other, Vegeta suddenly appeared between them, power flaring around his form. "Stop," the demon prince commanded, his voice carrying unexpected authority. The demon forces hesitated, confusion evident in their ranks. Even a few angels paused, surprised by this unexpected development. "What treachery is this?" Asura demanded, golden eyes narrowing dangerously. "Step aside, Prince Vegeta. The hybrid must be taken." Vegeta's expression was complex, anger, confusion, and something like reluctant realization warring across his features. "No," he said finally. "This isn't right. You betray your kind." Asura hissed. "For what? This aberration?" Vegeta glared at her. "I betray nothing. But I serve the netherworld, not your twisted experiments." He turned to address his forces. "The witch seeks the hybrid's power for herself, not for our realm's benefit. She would make us dependent on angelic essence, the very antithesis of demonic independence." Uncertainty spread through the demon ranks. Many had privately questioned Asura's involvement, her blood magic methods considered extreme even by netherworld standards. Zamasu seized the moment of confusion. Demons turning on demons. See how chaos devours itself. Angels, strike now while they're divided. The purification squad surged forward, but Goku was ready. With his newfound harmony of power, he created a barrier that separated the battlefield, not attacking either side but preventing them from reaching each other or the temple's inner grounds. "Listen to me," he called through the barrier. "Both sides claim to want cosmic balance, but you're the ones threatening it with this conflict. The mortal realm isn't your battlefield. Traitor." Asura shrieked at Vegeta, abandoning pretense as her plans unraveled. "King Vegeta will have your head for this interference." The demon prince smiled coldly. "My father values strength and honor above all. Your blood rituals have neither." He turned to Goku. "Don't mistake this for alliance, half-breed. Your existence still violates natural law. But the witch's methods violate demon code. This battle ends today." Before anyone could react, Vegeta launched himself at Asura. The witch, caught off guard by the attack from her supposed ally, barely managed to defend herself with a hasty shield of blood magic. Their combat created a new front in the already chaotic battle, demon forces splitting between those loyal to the prince and those under Asura's influence. Zamasu's angels, seeing an opportunity, redirected their assault toward the now divided demon ranks. "This is getting out of hand," Chi-Chi observed, watching the three-way battle from behind Goku's barrier. "Can you contain them all?" "Not indefinitely," Goku admitted, strain showing on his face as he maintained the complex energy field. "But maybe long enough for," his words cut off as a new presence materialized at the center of the temple grounds, a tall, purple, cat-like being with an aura of casual destructive potential that made everyone, angel and demon alike, freeze in mid-combat. "Lord Beerus," Whis acknowledged, bowing slightly. "Your timing is impeccable." The god of destruction yawned widely, revealing fanged teeth. "You interrupted my nap, Whis. This had better be important." Zamasu was the first to recover from the shock of the deity's arrival. "Lord Beerus," he said, bowing deeply. "This is a matter of cosmic order." "The abomination, yes, yes, the hybrid," Beerus interrupted, waving a dismissive paw. "The violation of natural law, the threat to cosmic balance, blah blah blah. I've heard it all already." His sharp yellow eyes fixed on Goku. "So you're the cause of all this commotion?" Goku lowered his barrier cautiously. "I guess I am. Though I didn't exactly choose to be." Beerus circled him, tail swishing contemplatively. "Interesting. Angel and demon energies, perfectly balanced within a single form. Unprecedented." He sniffed. "And you smell like a mortal too. Fascinating combination." Lord Beerus, Zamasu pressed, the High Council has authorized. The High Council, Beerus cut him off again, doesn't give orders to a god of destruction. Or had you forgotten that, Zamasu? His eyes narrowed dangerously. I'm well aware of your purification agenda. Your zeal exceeds your wisdom. He turned to address both factions. This conflict ends now. By my authority as god of destruction, I declare this being under my protection pending investigation of his unique nature. Protests erupted from both sides, but Beerus silenced them with a pulse of power that cracked the stone beneath their feet. That wasn't a suggestion, he growled. It was a declaration. Challenge it, and I'll demonstrate why destruction is part of my title. The battlefield fell silent. Even Asudara, for all her dark power, seemed unwilling to defy a deity of Beerus's caliber. You, Beerus pointed at Zamasu, return to the celestial realm and inform the High Council that I've taken personal interest in this case. And you, he turned to Vegeta, tell your father that any further attempts to capture the hybrid will be considered an act of aggression against me personally. Is that clear? Neither looked happy, but both nodded reluctantly. Good. Now get out of my sight, all of you. The opposing forces began to withdraw, opening portals back to their respective realms. Vegeta lingered momentarily, his gaze meeting Goku's across the battered courtyard. This isn't over, half-breed, he called, but his tone lacked its previous venom. Our paths will cross again. I'm counting on it, Goku replied with a slight smile. Something had changed in their dynamic, not friendship, certainly, but perhaps the beginning of understanding. As the last combatants disappeared through their portals, Beerus turned to Goku, Chi-Chi, and Whis. Well, that was tedious, the deity complained. I hope you appreciate my intervention. It's cut significantly into my napping schedule. We're grateful, Lord Beerus, Whis said smoothly. Though I admit, I'm curious about your interest in Goku's situation. Beerus yawned again. Balance is my responsibility as much as destruction. This hybrid, he gestured to Goku, represents something new in the cosmic equation. I want to understand it before anyone eliminates it. It is standing right here, Chi-Chi pointed out, her earlier fear of the deity apparently forgotten in her irritation at his casual dismissal. Beerus blinked at her, then laughed, a surprisingly cheerful sound from such an intimidating being. And it has a spirited human defender. Even more interesting. His expression grew more serious as he addressed Goku directly. You've bought yourself time, hybrid. But Zamasu won't abandon his crusade so easily, and the demon which clearly has plans for your unique abilities. This respite is temporary at best. I understand, Goku nodded. But it's enough for now. Thank you. Don't thank me yet, Beerus warned. My protection comes with conditions. Whis will explain. He stretched lazily. Now, I'm returning to my nap. Try not to start any more inter-realm conflicts for at least a few days, With that, the god of destruction vanished as suddenly as he had appeared. King Yema approached from the temple perimeter, his expression thoughtful. That was unexpected. Lord Beerus rarely involves himself in realm politics. What now? Chi-Chi asked, looking at the devastation around them. The ancient temple lay in partial ruins, evidence of the supernatural battle etched into stone and earth. Goku took her hand, his newfound aura still shimmering softly around them both. Now we prepare. This battle is over, but Beerus was right, Zamasu and Asudara won't give up so easily. And we still don't know what my parents meant about me being a bridge between realms. Perhaps I can help with that, Whis offered. Lord Beerus's conditions include your continued training under my supervision. But not just in combat techniques. What else? Goku asked. Diplomacy, Whis replied with a small smile. History. Politics of the realms. If you're to be a bridge, as your parents intended, you need to understand what you're connecting. King Yema nodded approval. A wise approach. And there are moderate factions in both realms who might be receptive to dialogue now that you've demonstrated your unique abilities. Chi-Chi squeezed Goku's hand. From martial arts tournament to cosmic diplomat. You've had quite the career change. Despite the gravity of their situation, Goku laughed. Not exactly what I planned for my life. But then, nothing has been since the tournament. He looked at her warmly. No regrets, though. None, she agreed. As the sun set over the damaged temple, casting long shadows across the battlefield where angels and demons had briefly united in confused retreat, Goku felt a strange sense of purpose crystallizing within him. His dual heritage, once a source of confusion and conflict, now represented possibility, the potential to change relationships that had seemed fixed since the beginning of time. It wouldn't be easy. Zamasu's zealotry and Asutara's ambition were just the most immediate threats. Centuries of distrust and hostility between realms couldn't be erased by a single battle or moment of revelation. But for the first time since learning the truth about himself, Goku felt not just acceptance but pride in what he was. Half angel, half demon, raised human, a unique perspective that might, just might, help heal ancient wounds. His parents had given him life at the cost of their own. Now he understood what they had really sacrificed themselves for, not just his survival, but the potential he represented. A bridge between worlds. A new kind of harmony. As Chi-Chi leaned against him, tired but triumphant, as Whis outlined plans for their next phase of training, as King Yema prepared new protective measures, Goku made a silent promise to the parents he'd never known. Their sacrifice wouldn't be in vain. Their vision wouldn't die with them. Somehow, he would find a way to fulfill the legacy they'd entrusted to him, not by choosing sides in an eternal conflict, but by creating a new path altogether. The path of balance. The way of harmony. The bridge between light and shadow where something new could grow. Chapter 3, Balance of Worlds. Dude, you're doing it again. Chi-Chi tossed a grape at Goku's head, hitting him squarely between the eyes. He blinked, pulled from his meditation. Doing what? Floating. She gestured to the space between him and the chair he'd been sitting in moments before. Like, literally floating. It's freaking the locals out. Goku glanced down, suddenly aware that he was hovering 3 feet off the ground in the middle of the outdoor cafe. Several humans at nearby tables were either staring openly or deliberately looking anywhere else, pretending they hadn't noticed the gravity-defying man in their midst. Crap, he muttered, settling back into his seat with as much casualness as he could manage. Sorry. Still getting used to the power fluctuations. 6 months had passed since the battle at the temple. 6 months of intensive training with Whis, diplomatic meetings with moderate factions from both realms, and increasingly frequent incidents as Goku's growing powers affected the world around him. Chi-Chi sipped her latte, seemingly unconcerned by the staring bystanders. So what did you see this time? In the meditation? Goku frowned, trying to capture the fading impressions. The barriers between realms, they're getting thinner. I could feel places where they're almost transparent. That's what King Yema reported too. She lowered her voice. The boundary weaknesses are spreading. That's why we're getting more supernatural bleed-through. The bleed-through, as they'd taken to calling it, had started as minor anomalies, objects moving on their own, temporary gravity fluctuations, brief glimpses of beings from other realms. But lately, the phenomena had intensified. Last week, an entire shopping district in Tokyo had experienced a 7-hour time loop. 3 days ago, a small town in Arizona reported rain that flowed upward instead of down. Whis thinks it's connected to me somehow, Goku said quietly. Like my existence is a tear in the fabric between worlds, and it's gradually getting bigger. Chi-Chi reached across the table, taking his hand. You're not responsible for this, Goku. Aren't I, though? He met her eyes. Before I activated my powers, before I learned what I was, these breaches didn't exist. It's like my awakening triggered something. Or someone is exploiting your awakening, she countered. Asura's been experimenting with blood magic using samples collected from your battles. And Zamasu's purification squads keep trying to cleanse boundary areas. Either one could be causing this. Goku sighed, squeezing her hand gratefully. Over the past months, Chi-Chi had become more than his anchor to humanity. She was his partner in every sense, her strategic mind complementing his growing powers, her unwavering support giving him strength when the weight of cosmic responsibility became too heavy. Their quiet moment was interrupted by a familiar voice. Touching scene. I might vomit. Goku didn't need to look up to recognize Vegeta's characteristic growl. The demon prince had changed since the temple battle, still arrogant and combative, but gradually shifting from enemy to reluctant ally as the realm disturbances worsened. Nice to see you too, Vegeta, Goku replied, gesturing to an empty chair. Coffee? They make a great espresso here. Vegeta remained standing, arms crossed over the black leather jacket that had become his preferred attire in the human realm. I didn't come for pleasantries. We have a problem. We always have a problem, Chi-Chi noted dryly. You'll need to be more specific. Singapore, Vegeta said flatly. The financial district just phased partially into the netherworld. Humans are panicking, demons are crossing over, and your overseer friend is struggling to contain it. Goku was on his feet instantly. How bad? Level 7 breach. Possibly expanding. Shit. Level 7 meant hundreds of civilians at risk, with potential for permanent realm distortion if not sealed quickly. Chi-Chi, already calling Whis, she confirmed, phone in hand. Go. I'll coordinate from here. Goku hesitated, torn between urgency and concern for her safety. The realm disturbances were becoming increasingly dangerous, and their enemies hadn't stopped hunting them. I've got her, Vegeta said, surprising them both. Just go fix the breach before my father decides to help by incinerating the whole district. With a grateful nod to the demon prince, Goku stepped into the shadow of a nearby building and activated his enhanced teleportation, a technique he'd perfected by combining angel light stepping with demon shadow walking. The world blurred around him as he moved between realms, traversing thousands of miles in seconds. Singapore's skyline came into focus, or part of it did. The other part rippled and warped, buildings stretching impossibly as they phased between the mortal realm and the netherworld. The distortion covered roughly 10 city blocks, with frightened humans fleeing the affected area while more curious ones recorded the phenomenon on their phones. In the center of the distortion, King Yema worked frantically to establish a boundary ward, his massive form visible only to those with supernatural sight. Beside him stood several minor celestials and demons who had temporarily set aside their differences to address the crisis. Goku landed beside the overseer. What happened? Started 30 minutes ago, King Yema reported grimly. No warning, no build-up. One moment normal, the next, he gestured to the partially phased skyscraper beside them, where office workers stared in horror as their conference room periodically filled with sulfurous smoke and glimpses of demonic landscape. It's getting worse, Goku observed, feeling the realm energies fluctuating wildly. The barrier isn't just thin here, it's oscillating. We need to stabilize it before attempting to seal the breach. King Yema handed Goku a complex ward stone inscribed with symbols from multiple realms. Place these at the cardinal points while I maintain the containment field. Your dual energy should amplify the stabilization effect. Goku took the stones, then froze as a familiar and unwelcome energy signature washed over him. Zamasu, he growled, looking skyward. Above the distortion, a rift opened in the clouds. Through it descended the green-skinned celestial and a dozen members of his purification squad, their armor gleaming in the midday sun. The abomination appears, drawn to the chaos it creates. Zamasu announced, voice carrying with supernatural clarity. Behold the evidence of its corruption. I didn't cause this. Goku called back, even as he began placing the ward stones at the first cardinal point. Help us contain it instead of grandstanding. Zamasu's face contorted with disgust. Containment is insufficient. Only purification will heal the wound in reality. He raised his hand, gathering celestial energy. Stand aside, overseer. The High Council has authorized cleansing measures. King Yema's expression darkened. The High Council has no authority over boundary breaches. That jurisdiction belongs to the Dimensional Oversight Committee, which I represent. Your committee is compromised, Zamasu replied coldly. You harbor the abomination instead of eliminating the threat. While they argued, Goku continued placing the ward stones, moving with enhanced speed between locations. 3 down, 1 to go. The stabilization was beginning to take effect, the violent fluctuations calming to a more predictable rhythm. He reached the final position, ready to complete the array, when the ground beneath him liquefied. Not cracked or collapsed, literally transformed from solid matter into viscous fluid that clung to his legs, halting his movement. Blood magic, he realized aloud. Asutara. The demon which emerged from a ripple in reality, her pale form seeming to coalesce from the distortion itself. Golden eyes gleamed with malicious triumph. The hybrid arrives as predicted, she purred. So eager to help, so dependable in your heroics. Understanding hit Goku with sickening clarity. You caused this breach. You're manipulating the boundaries. Asutara's smile widened, revealing needle-like teeth. A simple transmutation ritual using samples of your blood. Where you go, the boundaries weaken. Quite useful for creating opportunities. Above them, Zamasu's forces engaged King Yema and the boundary wardens in battle, celestial energy clashing with the Overseer's dimensional powers. The distraction kept them from noticing Asutara's arrival or Goku's predicament. The witch glided closer, golden eyes fixed on Goku as he struggled against the liquefied ground that now covered him to the waist. I only need a little more, she whispered. A few more samples, and my serum will be complete. Imagine, demon warriors infused with celestial essence, invincible against angelic weapons. We'll conquer the celestial realm within days. Goku summoned his dual energy, trying to break free of the magical restraint. But each surge of power seemed to feed the spell rather than weaken it, the ground rising higher, covering his chest now. Your resistance only enriches the sample, Asutara explained, producing a crystalline vial. When your power peaks in desperation, I'll extract what I need. Goku closed his eyes, forcing himself to calm. Fighting made it worse. If power fed the spell, perhaps its absence would starve it. He focused inward, drawing his energy to his core, compressing it to a single point within his center. The liquefied ground slowed its advance but didn't retreat. Not enough. Clever, Asutara acknowledged. But futile. The spell has your essence now. It will consume you regardless. A blur of movement caught Goku's peripheral vision, something moving too fast for even supernatural perception to track clearly. Then Asutara was flying backward, blood spurting from a gash across her face. Chi-Chi landed beside Goku, the crystal dagger he'd given her months ago now enhanced with new runes and glowing with borrowed power. Sorry I'm late, she said, slashing at the liquefied ground around him. Where the blade cut, the substance solidified back into concrete. Traffic was a nightmare. How did you, Goku began. Vegeta, she answered, continuing to carve a path through the magical restraint. His shadow walking is almost as fast as your teleportation now. The demon prince materialized nearby, engaging 2 of Asutara's acolytes who had emerged from the distortion to defend their mistress. Stop standing around in goo and seal the breach, idiot. Vegeta shouted as he drove a fist through one acolyte's chest. This distraction won't last forever. Freed from the restraint, Goku grabbed the final ward stone and slammed it into position. The 4 stones activated simultaneously, lines of stabilizing energy connecting them to form a perfect square around the affected area. The realm fluctuation steadied, the violent phasing resolving into a more stable overlap, still a breach, but no longer in danger of explosive expansion. Above them, Zamasu noticed the stabilization effect. No. The corruption must be purged completely. He directed a massive blast of celestial energy downward, aiming to overload the ward array. Goku intercepted the blast with a shield of dual energy, the impact driving him to one knee. Zamasu. This isn't helping. Your continued existence isn't helping, the celestial zealot shot back. Every moment you draw a breath, the boundaries between realms weaken further. That's Asura's doing, not mine. Goku nodded toward where Chi-Chi and Vegeta now fought the witch and her remaining acolyte. She's using my blood to create the breaches. Zamasu's eyes narrowed. Convenient excuse, abomination. Even if true, it only proves your existence threatens cosmic balance. There was no reasoning with him. Goku reinforced his shield as another barrage of celestial energy rained down. The ward array was working, but slowly. They needed time to complete the sealing process. King Yema. Goku called. How long until full containment? The overseer, still grappling with several purification squad members, glanced at the stabilization field. 10 minutes at least. The overlap is deeper than I thought. 10 minutes they didn't have, with Zamasu attacking from above and Asura recovering from Chi-Chi's surprise assault. The demon which was already back on her feet, golden eyes blazing with fury as she launched blood-red projectiles at her attackers. Goku made a split-second decision. Vegeta. Get Chi-Chi out of here. The demon prince dispatched his opponent with a neck-snapping twist, then glanced at Goku with narrowed eyes. What are you planning? Something stupid, Goku admitted. But it might work. Chi-Chi, hearing the exchange, disengaged from her fight with the acolyte and backed toward them. Goku, no heroic sacrifices. We talked about this. Not a sacrifice, he promised. A solution. But I need you safe first. She started to protest further, but Vegeta grabbed her arm. The half-breed has a plan. Let him execute it. To Goku, he added, this doesn't make us friends. Wouldn't dream of it, Goku replied with a quick grin. As Vegeta shadow-walked Chi-Chi to safety, Goku turned his attention back to the breach. The ward stones were working, but too slowly. They needed something to accelerate the process, a catalyst. He reached for the pendant around his neck, the crystal his parents had left him, now fully activated and integrated with his power. Within it lay not just their message but the accumulated knowledge of both celestial and infernal techniques, including one he discovered but never attempted. Dimensional anchoring. A technique so dangerous that both realms had forbidden its use. The concept was simple. A being of sufficient power could temporarily bind a location to a single-dimensional frequency, forcing overlapping realms back to their original state. The risk came from the binding itself. The anchor had to be living flesh and spirit, a sentient being who could perceive and separate the tangled realities. If the anchor lost focus or lacked sufficient power, they would be torn apart by conflicting dimensional forces. Even success meant temporarily experiencing every aspect of both realms simultaneously, a sensory and spiritual overload few could survive. Goku positioned himself at the center of the ward array, directly within the most intense part of the overlap. Above him, Zamasu continued his assault on the stabilization field. Nearby, Asura realized what he intended. No, the witch shrieked. You'll collapse my creation. Goku ignored them both, focusing inward. He needed perfect balance, not just between angel and demon energies, but within himself. Complete harmony of purpose and power. He thought of Chi-Chi, of the home they'd made together despite cosmic conflicts. Of Vegeta, whose grudging respect had evolved into something approaching alliance. Of his parents, whose love had transcended the boundaries between realms. Light bloomed from his right side, darkness from his left, but instead of keeping them separate or forcing them to merge, he allowed them to intertwine naturally. The energies spiraled around him, responding to his acceptance of both aspects of his heritage. I am the bridge, he whispered, recalling his mother's words. The connection between worlds that have been separated since creation. The pendant at his throat pulsed with answering power. From it emerged ghostly images of Seraphiel and Mephistra, their spiritual echoes responding to their son's need. The anchor requires 3 points, his mother's voice guided. Light, shadow, and something to connect them. Your humanity, his father's deeper tones added. The mortal aspect that both our kinds lack, the capacity for change, for growth beyond ordained purpose. Goku extended his arms, embracing all aspects of himself. The dual energy surrounding him shifted, no longer just purple but iridescent, containing every color and none, a new kind of power born from perfect integration. The dimensional anchoring began. Reality itself seemed to bend toward him, the overlapping realms recognizing the unique bridge he represented. Pain lanced through every cell as his body temporarily existed in 3 dimensions at once, mortal, celestial, and infernal. Zamasu, recognizing what was happening, redoubled his assault. Stop him. The abomination attempts forbidden techniques. Simultaneously, Asura launched a desperate attack, blood magic sizzling against Goku's iridescent shield. The anchor point is mine. The breach is mine. Their attacks barely registered through the overwhelming sensory input of the anchoring process. Goku perceived everything, every human trapped in the overlap, every demon exploring the breach, every angel in Zamasu's squad. He felt their fear, their ambition, their certainty. And something else, a darker presence lurking behind the breach, watching through Asura's magic, feeding on the chaos. You're being used, Goku managed to call out to the witch. There's something else, something controlling you through the blood magic. Asura faltered, genuine confusion crossing her features. Nonsense. I control the ritual. Look deeper. Goku insisted, even as the anchoring reached its critical phase. Feel what's pulling at your spell. The witch hesitated, her golden eyes unfocusing slightly as she extended her magical awareness. What she found made her recoil in genuine fear. No, she whispered. It cannot be. I didn't summon, she never finished the sentence. From the heart of the breach, a massive clawed hand emerged, not demon, not angel, but something older than both. Something that had waited in the spaces between realms, feeding on dimensional energy, growing stronger with each breach. Abyss Dweller, King Yema identified with horror. A void parasite. It's been manipulating the boundaries. The creature pulled itself further into reality, a writhing mass of tentacles and eyes surrounding a gaping maw lined with crystalline teeth. Its very presence accelerated the breakdown of dimensional barriers, undoing the stabilization field's work. This is your doing, abomination. Zamasu accused, though even he sounded shaken. Your existence invited this corruption. No, Asura contradicted, backing away from her creation. It used me. Used my ritual. The hybrid's blood was just the catalyst it needed. Goku remained at the center of the anchoring process, unable to move or defend himself as the Abyss Dweller turned its attention toward the most powerful energy source in the vicinity, him. Feed, the creature spoke directly into their minds, its voice like glass scraping stone. Bridge. Consume. Become. Tentacles lashed toward Goku from multiple directions. The dimensional anchoring had him locked in place, unable to dodge. A blur of motion intercepted the attack, Vegeta, returning to the battle despite his earlier departure. The demon prince severed 3 tentacles with a blade of concentrated darkness. Whatever you're doing, half-breed, finish it, he shouted, dodging another tentacled assault. This thing gets stronger by the second. Chi-Chi appeared at the perimeter of the anchoring field, having evidently convinced Vegeta to bring her back. Goku. The ward stones are failing. She was right. The stabilization array flickered as the Abyss Dweller's presence overwhelmed it. The breach was expanding again, buildings and streets disappearing into a growing void as reality itself unraveled. Goku pushed his power to its limit, accelerating the anchoring process. I need more time. You heard him, Chi-Chi called to the unlikely gathering of celestials, demons, and boundary wardens around them. Give him time. What happened next would later be described in the histories of three realms as the convergence, the first time since creation that angels, demons, and humans fought together against a common threat. Zamasu, despite his hatred for Goku, recognized the greater danger. Purifiers. Contain the corruption. His squad redirected their attacks toward the Abyss Dweller, celestial light scorching the creature's tentacles. King Yema reinforced the ward stones with his own power. Boundary Wardens. Strengthened the perimeter. Vegeta engaged the creature directly, his demonic strength and speed allowing him to sever tentacles faster than they could regenerate. Any day now, half-breed. Chi-Chi coordinated the human emergency responders who had arrived, her crystal dagger glowing as she used it to mark safe evacuation routes through the dimensional chaos. At the center of it all, Goku completed the anchoring. His iridescent aura expanded outward in a perfect sphere, encompassing the entire affected area. Within that sphere, reality began to separate, the overlapped realms pulling apart like oil and water. The Abyss Dweller shrieked in fury, feeling its access point closing. It launched a final, desperate assault, all tentacles converging on Goku. Consume. The attacks never landed. A purple cat-like figure appeared beside Goku, yawning dramatically. Noisy parasites, interrupting my lunch, Beerus complained. With casual flick of his finger, he repelled all the tentacles at once. Whis, explain what's happening. Use small words. The blue-skinned angel materialized nearby, staff in hand. Dimensional breach, my lord. Void parasite. Goku is attempting an anchoring to seal it. Anchoring? Beerus raised an eyebrow. Ambitious. And technically forbidden by both realms, if I recall. He sounded more amused than concerned. Desperate times, Whis acknowledged. The god of destruction considered the scene, the collaborating forces, the straining hybrid, the raging void creature, and sighed. Fine. I'll help. But only because sending this parasite back to the void counts as destruction, which is within my job description. With that, he placed a hand on Goku's shoulder, lending his divine power to the anchoring process. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Goku's iridescent aura flared blindingly bright, the dimensional separation accelerating exponentially. No, the Abyss Dweller howled as it felt itself being forced back into the void. Centuries of waiting. My feast. Should have chosen a less troublesome entry point, Beerus told it casually. This one's under my protection. Reality snapped back into place with concussive force. The overlapped realms separated cleanly, the breach sealing as the dimensional anchoring completed. The Abyss Dweller, caught between worlds, was compressed and then ejected back into the void between realities. In the sudden silence that followed, Goku collapsed to his knees, the anchoring process finally complete. His aura remained iridescent though less intense, evidence of the permanent change the experience had wrought in him. Well, that was mildly entertaining, Beerus declared, stretching languidly. Crisis averted, parasite banished, realms separated. My work here is done. Thank you, Lord Beerus, Goku managed, his voice hoarse from the strain. The god of destruction waved dismissively. Don't make a habit of it. Next time, try not to let blood witches use your essence for interdimensional summoning rituals. With that, he and Whis disappeared, presumably returning to whatever lunch had been interrupted. Chi-Chi rushed to Goku's side, supporting him as he struggled to stand. Are you okay? You look different. She was right. The anchoring had changed him physically. His dual-toned aura had stabilized into the iridescent shimmer that seemed to shift between all colors depending on the angle of observation. More significantly, his eyes had transformed, the right iris silvery like his mother's, the left crimson like his father's, but both containing flecks of the opposite color in perfect balance. I feel different, he confirmed. Like everything finally clicked. King Yema approached, looking exhausted but relieved. The anchoring worked perfectly. The dimensional damage is healing already. Around them, Singapore's financial district was returning to normal, buildings re-solidifying, distortions fading, confused humans emerging from shelter. Emergency services were already creating cover stories about gas leaks and mass hallucinations. Zamasu landed nearby, his purification squad regrouping behind him. His expression remained hostile, but something had changed in his demeanor. This doesn't absolve you of your nature, hybrid, he declared, though with less conviction than before. But, your actions were, not entirely without merit. High praise coming from you, Goku replied, managing a tired smile. Look, Zamasu, you saw what happened. The real threat wasn't me. It was something exploiting the conflicts between our realms. The green-skinned Celestial's eyes narrowed. You suggest the Abyss Dweller was the true corruption all along? I'm suggesting that maybe, just maybe, your purification crusade is focused on the wrong target, Goku said carefully. How many other breaches might be forming while you spend your resources hunting me? Uncertainty flickered across Zamasu's features, the first crack in his absolute conviction that Goku had ever witnessed. The High Council will hear of this, he said finally. All of it. With that ambiguous statement, he gestured to his squad, and they ascended back through the celestial portal. Did we just win him over? Chi-Chi asked incredulously. Not even close, Goku replied. But maybe we gave him something to think about. Vegeta approached, wiping black ichor from his hands, remnants of the Abyss Dweller's tentacles. The witch escaped in the confusion, he reported. But her power is diminished. The parasite was feeding on her magic for months, possibly years. That explains her obsession with my blood, Goku realized. The parasite needed a bridge between realms to fully manifest. It used a Sutra to get to me. And through you, access to all realms simultaneously, King Yema confirmed. A clever strategy. Void parasites are patient predators. Will it return? Chi-Chi asked. Eventually, the overseer acknowledged. But it's severely weakened. It will take centuries to regain its strength. Goku looked around at the aftermath, angels departing to their realm, demons skulking. Back through fading rifts, humans rebuilding their understanding of reality around more comfortable explanations. Three worlds that had briefly united against a common threat, now retreating to their separate existences. It doesn't have to be this way, he said quietly. What doesn't? Chi-Chi asked. This separation. This eternal opposition. Goku gestured to where celestials and demons had fought side by side minutes earlier. Today proved cooperation is possible when the stakes are high enough. Today was an anomaly, Vegeta countered, though without his usual derision. Millennia of hostility don't disappear over one parasitic invasion. No, Goku agreed. But it's a start. He turned to King Yema. My parents believed I could be a bridge between realms. I think I finally understand what that means. The overseer studied him thoughtfully. The dimensional anchoring changed you, Goku. You've achieved something unprecedented, perfect integration of opposing essences. Neither half angel, half demon, but something wholly new. And dangerous, Vegeta added. To the established order, at least. Change is always dangerous, Chi-Chi noted, taking Goku's hand. That doesn't mean it's wrong. Goku looked between them, the neutral overseer, the demon prince, the human woman, each representing a different perspective, a different realm, yet all standing together in the aftermath of shared battle. I need to speak to the leaders of both realms, he decided. Not as a supplicant or a fugitive, but as a representative of something new. The convergence proved what's possible when artificial boundaries fall. Vegeta laughed sharply. You want to become an interdimensional diplomat? Bold plan for someone both sides wanted dead 6 months ago. Things change, Goku replied simply. Indeed they do, King Yema agreed, surprising them. The Dimensional Oversight Committee has been monitoring these events closely. They might be willing to grant you official status as an envoy, given today's developments. You planned this? Vegeta asked suspiciously. The overseer shook his massive head. No one planned the Abyss Dweller. But the committee has been seeking a solution to increasing boundary instability for centuries. Goku represents a novel approach. Chi-Chi squeezed Goku's hand. Whatever you decide, I'm with you. The simple declaration meant everything. Through all the chaos, all the cosmic conflicts and supernatural threats, her unwavering support had been his constant. Not because he was half angel or half demon or some prophesied bridge between realms, but because he was Goku. He squeezed back, grateful beyond words. Then he turned to face the future, uncertain, dangerous, but filled with possibility. Let's get started. 3 months later, Goku stood on a platform suspended between realms, a physical manifestation of his metaphorical position as the bridge. The structure had been jointly created by celestial architects and demon craftsmen, a symbolic achievement in itself. Below the platform spread a vast amphitheater where representatives from all 3 realms had gathered for the first Convergence Council. Angels occupied the eastern section, demons the western, humans, those few with sufficient spiritual awareness to perceive the gathering, the southern. Chi-Chi stood beside him, resplendent in formal attire that somehow managed to include hidden weapons, just in case, she'd insisted. Her role as human liaison had been formalized after extensive negotiation with Earth's hidden spiritual leaders. Nervous? She asked quietly. Terrified, Goku admitted with a smile. Public speaking wasn't covered in Whis' training program. Just be yourself, she advised. That's what got us here. Us being the important word, he replied, giving her a quick kiss. I couldn't have done any of this without you. Their moment was interrupted as the formal proceedings began. King Yema, serving as neutral moderator, called for attention. Representatives of the 3 realms, his voice boomed across the amphitheater. We gather for the first Convergence Council since the dawn of creation. Today marks a new chapter in the relationship between our worlds. The assembly quieted, attention focusing on the platform where Goku stood. I present Goku, the Bridge of Realms, who will address the council. Taking a deep breath, Goku stepped forward. The iridescent aura that now permanently surrounded him brightened slightly, responding to his emotions. I'm not going to pretend this is easy or simple, he began, his voice carrying clearly through the dimensional space. For as long as any of us can remember, our realms have existed in separation or opposition. Angels and demons have been enemies. Humans have been caught in the middle, largely unaware. He looked across the gathered faces, some hostile, some curious, some hopeful. 6 months ago, I discovered I was both angel and demon, a contradiction that shouldn't exist. Many of you wanted me eliminated because of it. He nodded toward Zamasu, who sat with the celestial delegation, expression carefully neutral. Some of you wanted to exploit me. His gaze shifted to where Asudara, significantly diminished after her encounter with the Abyss Dweller, sat under guard within the demon contingent. What none of us realized was that I represented not a violation of natural law, but its evolution. The cosmos itself is changing, adapting. The rigid separation between realms is becoming unsustainable. Murmurs spread through the assembly. This was the controversial heart of his proposal. The Abyss Dweller wasn't an isolated incident, Goku continued. It was a symptom. Other entities lurk in the spaces between realms, feeding on the energy of our conflicts, waiting for opportunities to breach our worlds. Our disunity is their strength. He gestured to the human delegation. Mortal science is beginning to perceive the boundaries between dimensions. Angel theology insists on rigid separation to maintain purity. Demon philosophy demands independence at all costs. All 3 perspectives are simultaneously right and incomplete. Goku paused, gathering his thoughts. Chi-Chi gave him an encouraging nod. I'm not proposing we erase the boundaries between our realms. Each world has its purpose, its unique value. What I'm proposing is controlled permeability. Regulated exchange. Diplomatic relations instead of reflexive hostility. The bold vision hung in the air. Some representatives looked outraged, others intrigued. From the angel section, a white-haired celestial rose, the Grand Minister, highest representative of the celestial realm. You ask us to abandon eons of tradition, he stated, his melodic voice neither approving nor condemning. What assurance can you offer that such integration won't lead to corruption or chaos? Before Goku could respond, someone else stood from the demon section, King Vegeta himself, his imposing presence drawing all eyes. For once, I find myself curious about the same question as my celestial counterpart, the Demon King rumbled. Demons thrive on chaos, but even we recognize the need for certain foundations. Goku appreciated the directness of both leaders. I offer no absolute guarantees. What I offer instead is evidence. He gestured to the platform itself. This structure, built by angel and demon craftsmen working together. The convergence battle, where all three realms united against a common threat. My own existence, not torn apart by opposing energies, but strengthened by their harmony. He extended his hands, palms up, iridescent energy swirling above them. Most importantly, I offer an alternative to the coming crisis. The boundaries are weakening regardless of our preferences. We can manage this change together or be overwhelmed by it separately. Silence fell across the amphitheater as representatives absorbed his words. Then, from the human section, an elderly spiritual leader rose. Humans have always existed at the crossroads of forces beyond our understanding, she said, her voice frail but clear. Yet we have developed something neither angels nor demons fully grasp, adaptability. Perhaps all three realms can learn from each other. Gradually, the discussion opened. Questions were asked, concerns raised, possibilities explored. Not universal agreement, far from it, but genuine dialogue between beings who had regarded each other only as enemies for millennia. As the formal session concluded and representatives broke into smaller discussion groups, Vegeta approached the platform. Impressive performance, Bridge, he acknowledged, the title lacking its earlier sarcasm. You actually got my father thinking, which almost never happens. High praise coming from you, Goku replied with a smile. Does this mean we're friends now? Let's not get carried away, Vegeta scoffed, though a hint of amusement lurked in his expression. Allies, perhaps. The witch's faction still seeks your blood, and Zamasu hasn't abandoned his purification ideology entirely. So nothing's really resolved, Chi-Chi observed. On the contrary, came Whisa's voice as the angel instructor joined their conversation. Everything has changed. Not in declarations or immediate actions, but in possibility. Today, representatives of three realms spoke as equals for the first time in cosmic history. Goku nodded, understanding what his mentor meant. It's a beginning, not an end. Precisely, Whis agreed. The path of the bridge isn't to eliminate differences between realms, but to create space where those differences can coexist productively. As they spoke, Goku felt a familiar warmth from the crystal pendant at his throat. Within it, the spectral images of his parents appeared briefly, visible only to him, their expressions conveying pride and hope. The legacy they had entrusted to him was unfolding in ways none of them could have fully anticipated. Not the elimination of boundaries, but their transformation. Not the end of distinct realms, but the beginning of their cooperation. Later that evening, as representatives departed to their respective worlds, Goku and Chi-Chi stood alone on the bridge platform, watching the cosmic sunset that appeared differently depending on which realm one viewed it from. So what happens now? Chi-Chi asked, leaning against him contentedly. Honestly? Probably a lot of tedious negotiations, Goku admitted with a laugh. Followed by inevitable crises, unexpected alliances, and occasional attempts to assassinate the Bridge of Realms. Just an average Tuesday for us, then, she teased. He turned to face her fully, taking both her hands in his. Whatever comes next, I want to face it together. Officially together. She raised an eyebrow. Are you proposing? Is it that obvious? Goku, subtle you are not, Chi-Chi laughed, then sobered. But yes. Yes to whatever you're asking, however you're asking it. He kissed her then, their silhouettes framed against the multifaceted sunset. The bridge between realms and his human anchor, finding harmony in a universe of opposing forces. Above them, angels watched with cautious curiosity. Below, demons observed with reluctant interest. Around them, the boundaries between worlds remained, distinct but no longer absolute, evolving towards something new. Something better. A cosmos where light and shadow, order and chaos, divine and mortal might someday see themselves not as eternal enemies, but as necessary complements in the greater balance of existence. All because of a child born of forbidden love, hidden away on earth, who grew up to embrace all aspects of himself, angel and demon and human alike. Goku. The bridge of realms. The harmony of opposites. The beginning of change. The end. Thank you for watching this video. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video.